The car park at the back of Aberfoyle, where in 1644 one Robert Kirk was born. Leaving the car park and passing over this old stone bridge over the River Forth, you head out towards where the old kirk was. Immediately after leaving the bridge, on the left, you spot Doon Hill with that significant tree, the minister's tree at the top of it. Carrying on along this road here, past the new houses with fields on the left, just before you reach the church, there's a small enclosure where you'll find these delightful looking little pigs, which are very docile today. Just after that starts the graveyard, which contains the old church, now without roof, and just part of the cemetery. But you can see in the background how that would be a focus for Doon Hill, with this little tree popping up the top of it. And this was what drew the minister Robert Kirk to take regular walks along the road and up the hill, supposedly to meet with the fairies on top of the tree. Leaving the church, you'll notice this delightful old cottage just on the right hand side as you start to walk along the track out towards the hill. There are a few houses along the way, but cars can only go so far. This junction here, there's a sign at the end which then prohibits any further vehicular access apart from the couple of remaining houses. Once past that, you're onto this track here with fields on either side, which leads to the forest proper. Immediately through the gates, on the left is a track which leads around one side of Doon Hill, but carrying straight on, you'll come to this sign which leads you up the path to Doon Hill and the fairy tree. So heading off this track here would be the same path probably that Robert Kirk would take on his various journeys up to the hill to meet the fairies. And it was because of these various meetings that in 1691 he wrote the book The Secret Commonwealth of Elves, Fauns and Fairies, where he described their rituals and eating habits and other customs. It was suspected that, a lot of the townsfolk worried though, that he had angered the fairies in doing this and that there would be some sort of retribution. And indeed, you can see the path is quite steep up to the hill here. On the 14th of May 1692, on a visit to the top of the hill, he collapsed and died. Now, and that's where the legends would then begin, because it was suspected that, in fact, the fairies had taken him. And one of the main legends would be that he was taken down into this tree, the tree at the centre, which has become the focus now of the ritual of leaving messages on ribbons to the fairies to appease them and to ask for favours. The amount that there is now is certainly not as much as there used to be, and I suspect that there's regular clearings by someone or other of the various ribbons and so on, because certainly a few years back there was more than you can see just now, and the ones that you have here are relatively fresh. But that hasn't stopped people coming here to do this, just as we have done. But perhaps the only small person still watching over this area abides in that tree there. Next time you go to see this, look out for the little man in the tree.